right, what is up, guys? We are here at the Epson-Tour Championship at Indian Wells, and this is a very, very big week, as we have already discussed many times. I am Hope Barnett with the LPGA Tour, and I'm so happy to be joined by you, Gary Christian. Like we said, there's a lot going on. You know, this is a big week for these players. You have been in this scenario before. You played on Korn Ferry, you played on the PGA Tour, and the thing about the women's game is that it just keeps getting younger and younger. It seems like, to me at least. So I want to talk about three players today. They're all on the bubble, you know, trying to get their LPGA Tour cards for 2025, but that is really tough. So I think first, just talk about the pressure that kind of rides on those players that are on the bubble, and we'll get into who they are in just a minute.
Yeah, I think it's all about, you know, getting over hurdles. So number one, you want to get to this tournament. You've had a week off the week before. You want to get to this tournament feeling like the game's in good shape. That's hurdle number one, where you're not trying to find your game when you get here. Hurdle number two is cut day. Today's cut day. If you can't make the cut, it's out of your hands. Yep. So that's number two. So we are going to try and get through that today, and there is so much pressure on there because, you know, there's some players that know, man, if I could just make the cut, I should be okay. Yeah. But you want to have it in your own hands. Absolutely,
and that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself, you know, going into the biggest week of the year. You're trying to get your LPGA Tour card. You want to move up to that next, you know, stage, but it all kind of rides on this week. So for those who maybe don't know, the top 15 in the race for the card get their LPGA Tour card for 2025. 1 through 10 is better status, and then 11 through 15, obviously not as good, but hey, you're happy with being right there, you know? So going into this week, we had Kim Kaufman, who was in 14th in the race for the card, and she's played many years on the LPGA Tour, but had to come back down, play on the Epson-Tour for a little bit, kind of get her game back. She's had a good career when you really look at it, but she is on the bubble, and she didn't start this week off amazing. So she's 33 years old, you know, on the later side of her career. What does that feel like, you know, all these young guns coming out, especially on the Epson Tour, you know, and they're fearless. So what does that feel like as someone who might be nearing the end of their career?
Well, I can speak to this. I was a rookie on the PGA Tour at 40 years old. Yeah. So I knew what it was like. It seemed like, okay, I was in my early 30s or my late 20s. Oh, I've got plenty of years ahead of me. I'm fine. If I don't make it this year, I got plenty of years ahead of me. I started getting to my mid-30s. Things started to get, okay, I'm running out of time here. And so Kim is kind of at that stage in her career where, you know, you start to get to your mid-30s, you know, now things are starting to, wow, man, I need to really take advantage. There may not be many chances left to get back to the LPGA Tour. She, as you said, she's had an incredible career, over $1.5 million in career earnings, but it's been a few years since she's had full status out there. So she's had a great year this year. A couple of the runners-up. She's only missed 3 cuts, but she's missed 2 of the last 3 cuts. So, you know, all of a sudden, sort of that momentum stalls, and, you know, you start to see yourself move down on the points list. And all of a sudden, that pressure, that anxiety mounts. So yesterday, she got off to a rough start. You know, the good news was she kind of righted the ship. So, you know, she gave herself an opportunity to make the cut, but it's still going to take a lot today. And, you know, for her, she's got to just dig on years and years of experience and find a way to dig her way out of this hole to make the cut, again, to put it in her own hands.
Absolutely. Next on the race for the card, so she was in 14th. In 15th is Valerie Plata. And she's young. She's 10 years younger than Kim. I mean, can you imagine? It's kind of crazy when you look at golf, because that's one of the interesting things about golf is that everyone can be such different ages. And some people, you know, they have their peak at 19. You know, you look at Lydia Ko. I mean, she's obviously still a legend, but she is just fearless. She has nothing to lose. She might as well go into this week giving it all she's got, because she has plenty of years ahead of her. So she was right on the cusp at 15th. So talk a little bit about Valerie and how she might be feeling.
Well, I think you used the perfect word, fearless. The young athletes are fearless now. They are ready to come out, not just to kind of spend a few years trying to feel their way into the professional game. They're ready to come out, win. Yeah. Last year, as a rookie, she was on the LPGA Tour. Didn't have a great year, but she has status on the Epson Tour. The disappointment from last year won the first event, no problem at all. So, the rest of the year's kind of been a little bit up and down, but the last month she's played really well again. So she is riding that momentum, and as I said, that fearlessness of, maybe you can detach yourself a little bit from the situation because you're young, and in many ways you don't know better. Okay, this is just another tournament. Okay, another opportunity to get my LPGA Tour card back, and she got off to a great start yesterday. And so you would expect her to maintain that and put herself in really good position where now all of a sudden she would have the weekend to go out and potentially stretch it out a little bit more and just give herself a little wiggle room, because come Sunday, I don't care how fearless you are, if you're somewhere near the bubble, it's going to be the hardest round of your life. So she wants as much space as she possibly can.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if they are young and they are fearless, that's something I've learned about golfers since working at the LPGA Tour, is that they're never truly happy. They want to win, but even when they win, they're like, okay, what's next though? Like, when am I going to get my second win? So the last player we are going to talk about, she is 16th in the race for the card, is Amanda Doherty. So I've watched her play quite a bit on the LPGA Tour, and obviously she's gotten in now some time on the epson-tour. She's taking a bit of a different route, but she is right in between their two ages. So she is 27. So, you would think maybe she'd be at the peak of her career, or maybe she thinks that, but you never know when you are going to peak. So going into, the second round and then the weekend, what does she have to kind of keep in mind to hopefully get that card for next year?
Well, I think you're correct. I think she's right there in the peak. She's learned what it is she needs to do under pressure. This is a pressurized situation. So again, she has that, maybe not a load of scar tissue, but she has that fearlessness still. So that's the perfect combination to me. So, she's played the last couple of years on the LPGA Tour, so she has that recent memory of, okay, I really desperately want to get back there, and I'm playing well. I played consistently this year. And, I get the sense that her game is just of that type of solidity where she won't make many mistakes. She'll play well today, put herself in good position, and then kind of just build on that this weekend. But I was watching her a little bit in the practice round. There was just sort of a calmness there that you see with certain players who feel like and look like they're in control, and others look a little bit more anxious. There's a lot more practice. There's a lot more just sort of busyness. Amanda just looked relaxed and ready to perform this week.
Yeah, and I think sometimes they need that a little bit, because this is such a pressure-packed situation, and they're trying to get their cards. They're thinking, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world if I don't get it. But really, it's not. You never know what's going to happen. But I don't envy them. That's a scary position to be in. But there you have it, folks. That is 14, 15, and 16 in the race for the card. Coming into this week, they all have such different experiences, different backgrounds, but I am excited to see how it's all going to shake out.
It's the epitome of the Epson-tour, isn't it? Every single type of player, every age, every stage of their career. I think that's what makes it so exciting, so compelling, and a reason to really pay attention to the tour.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for chatting with me about this, because I think it's what you said. That's what makes the epson-tour so interesting, so compelling, and that is why you need to follow along. So be sure to follow along, because we are going to be chatting throughout the whole week, and you can follow the scores on epson-tour.com. And we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
All right.